As soon as I gave them access in my payouts, it was over. It was over. Over. They took complete control of my groups that I manage on Facebook, my ad accounts, my pages, my Instagram account. Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself. A minister, an ordained licensed minister, a seminary graduate, a Christian YouTuber, and my faith was weak. And God will sometimes strip away the things that you and I put all of our faith in just to show you on the other side that it was always Him. I can talk about this now. After 6 months of frustration, pain, anxiety, fear, doubt, confusion, stress, I can finally talk about this now. All right, so on January 24th, 2024, my Facebook page got hacked, all right? And I'm going to tell you exactly how this happened to me, because there are some of you watching this video and you're creators, you're influencers, but you're just human beings, all right? That you get emails all the time from people asking you different things. And I want you to be aware, all right? Specifically for some of my creator friends out there, I need you to be aware of this scheme so it doesn't happen to you. So you don't have to go through what I had to go through these last 6 months, because I would not wish this on my worst enemy, all right? And after I go through this and I tell you how all this stuff went down, as always, because I'm a Bible teacher, I'm going to teach you and share with you some very, very valuable lessons that I have learned and what God has taught me. Very valuable lessons that I have learned that I want to share with you. But before I explain to you exactly how this happened, let me paint this picture for you. All right, let's just say you own a house that you have spent years building this house. You've got memories in this house. You have your children grew up in this house. It's your house. You go on vacation, you're living your life, you're having a good time, and you come back from your vacation and you try to get into your house and you realize, to your surprise, your keys don't work. So you can't seem to get into your house. So then you go to the police department and you say, hey, I can't get into my house. They say, well, what's your address? You give them your address and they say, well, that's not your home. This home is registered to somebody else. You're like, what? I've lived in this home for the last 10 years, 15 years. Sorry, based on the records that we see in our system, that house belongs to somebody else. And then as you're there, you start seeing all these notifications on your phone of money flying out of your account. So you call your bank and you say, hey, what's going on? I can't get into my bank. And they say, well, yeah, that bank account is not under your name anymore. That bank account's under somebody else's name. You might be getting the alerts, but it's under somebody else's name. And to our knowledge, these are valid purchases. And you feel totally violated. Totally violated. Somebody else is up in your house, posting on social media, acting like they're you, acting like it's their house, and there's nothing you can do. The people that are supposed to help you, the police department, the bank, all this, they're not doing anything to help you, and you feel violated. My brothers and sisters, that is literally how I have felt, and that's exactly what happened to me. All right, so I'm going to share with you exactly how it happened. All right, exactly how it happened. Okay, so I'm going to read an email that I got, and I got this email on January 20th. All right. It says, now it's coming from lewishowspodcast@gmail.com. Now that should have been a red flag right there, but I'll get to that later on in this video. Dear Alan Parr, this is Lewis Howes Management. Now, if you don't know who Lewis Howes is, he's a a well-known influencer on social media. I believe he has over 3.3 million followers on Facebook. So he's a pretty well-known influencer. We are happy to invite you to participate in our online podcast event, which is hosted by Lewis Howes. In this podcast session, we will discuss the ups and downs of life, struggles in life, the best thing about your passion, the captivating narrative spun by authors and writers, the way of success that you pursued, the remarkable journey of entrepreneurship, human rights, and social issues, including socialism. You can also talk about your lifestyle, thoughts, and personality. We have selected our podcast platform as Facebook. It will be live on Facebook pages. We are pleased to offer a $3,000 compensation for your participation in the podcast episode. We are sure that you have something something special to share with our audience and don't want to miss out on this opportunity. So please join us as a guest speaker on this unique podcast. We believe that such conversations are essential and offer the opportunity to be enlightening and empowering, which is why we are inviting you, Alan Parr, to take part in this event. We would be honored to have you join us for this very important podcast session. Please feel free to bring any questions or ideas you would like to discuss. Best regards, Lewis Management. Okay. So I get this email and I'm thinking, wow. Somebody who has 3.3 million followers on Facebook, somebody that I'm familiar with, by the way, and have followed for a long time, wants to invite me on their podcast to go live on Facebook, and they're going to pay me $3,000. Yeah, sign me up. I'm cool. So without going into all the emails back and forth, I wrote these guys back and I was like, hey, sure, I'm in. I'm good for this. This sounds great. And I tell you that these guys are great at what they do. They are amazing because the communication back and forth was quick. It was professional. It was insightful. They were very helpful. And they said, okay, so yeah, no problem. We need to get on a Zoom call with you so that we can make sure that your Facebook account is properly set up for you to go live with Lewis Howes on his podcast. Because there's some settings in your Facebook account that need to be changed to make sure that the live stream goes live on your page and it also goes live on Lewis's page at the same time. And Lewis is going to make a whole lot of money off of this because he's going to run ads and he's going to give you a portion of it. That's how we're able to pay you. I mean, they had the whole thing schemed up. The whole thing. All right. Try not to get angry all over again. So I got on a Zoom call with them. And I'm going to share you with you another red flag I have a little bit later, okay? But I got on a Zoom call with them. I was on the phone with them for an hour. These dudes were helpful. I mean, they were telling me all these things I could do with my Facebook account to get more followers and more subscribers and earn more income and tricks on how I can do live stream. I mean, they literally bought my trust within an hour. And they said, okay, hey, we need you to make some changes to your Facebook account. By this point, I'm like, hey, cool. These guys are cool. And, no problem. And they said, hey, change this, change that. And, here's what they said. Okay. They said, here's what they get. They said, in order for us to pay you the $3,000, we need you to add us to your payout account. And they said, don't worry. You're not giving us any control or anything like that. This is just allowing us to pay you through Facebook the same way Facebook pays you every month for your videos. Just add our name right here, and this will give us permission to pay you for the podcast. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, that makes sense. I added them on my payout on Facebook, got off the Zoom call, thought everything was good. They said, we'll be in touch. Lewis will get back with you with all these questions to make sure you're set up. In a day went by, didn't think of it. 2 days went by, didn't know what was going on. Didn't hear from them. As soon as I gave them access in my payouts, it was over. It was over. over. They took complete control of my house, my groups that I manage on Facebook, my ad accounts, my pages, my Instagram account. And at first I didn't realize it because I got an email that was like, hey, so-and-so has just joined your business manager. I'm like, okay, that's really strange. I didn't really know. Because I don't really deal. I have a team of people that do that. I don't deal with that much. But then I went on to Facebook and I tried to remove him, or I tried to do something. And I think they caught wind that I knew they were in there and they shouldn't have been in there. So then I got another email. I think this was on January 28th that said, Alan Parr, you have been removed from Let's Equip Business Manager. You've been removed from your business account. Whoa. I was like, whoa. Okay, so now I've been removed from my Facebook page. I couldn't log in. I couldn't view the page. Like they kicked me out of my house. I couldn't get in. I couldn't even view the page, not let alone get in and control and manage it. I couldn't even view the page. They had blocked me from any and all access. Okay. Let me calm down because the Lord is good. The Lord is so good. All right. So let me tell you what they started doing. From that point forward, they started running ads on my Facebook page using my debit card. And they started running ads to their websites. And they were really slick with it because what they did was they used the titles of my ad campaigns, like the Bible Accelerator or the Bible Study Roadmap or whatever, things that we've done in the past, so that it wouldn't trigger anything in Facebook and trigger me. So I started seeing all these alerts come through my phone. And it's like, oh, $900, $900, $900, $900. Like, wow, that's really strange, man. Well, I still at this point didn't quite figure out what was going on. They were running ads using my debit card. You say, well, how do they have access to my debit card? Because I have to give Facebook my debit card in order to pay Facebook to run ads to get people to come into our challenges, our webinars, our programs, and all that stuff. Once I realized that they were scamming me and they were using my debit card, well, I contacted my bank. I said, shut this debit card down right away and reverse these charges. Praise the Lord for Bank of America. Praise the Lord. I'm trying to be nice to, I'm trying to be nice to the platform that I got schemed on. But Bank of America's support was amazing. Reversed the charges, I was able to talk to a human being that actually cared, and they helped me out and all of that. Okay. So once I removed my debit card, I'm thinking, okay, at least they can't run me dry and use my debit card to run ads. I was wrong. These guys then used my bank account. And they did ACH transfers from my bank account for thousands of dollars to run ads to their websites, lights for tailgates for trucks and stuff like that. You may say, well, how would they get access to your bank account? Well, I have to put my bank account into Facebook in order for Facebook to pay me for my videos, just like YouTube pays me and many other creators for our videos. So when I put a video out on Facebook, it earns ad revenue. I had to put my bank account in there for Facebook to pay me. Well, they got access to that. And that's a whole lot more difficult to get back because it's an ACH transfer. It's not a debit card, as some of you know. But that Bank of America came through. So at this point, I had to get a whole new bank account. I had to shut that business bank account down, open up a brand new bank account. It was a hassle. All the while I was frustrated. I was angry. I was irritable. All this time I was trying to get on support with Facebook. I was getting frustrated. I wasn't getting answers. And it was crazy. All right. So then once I got a new bank account and they realized that they couldn't suck me dry anymore for running ads, then they came up with another scheme. They were like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. What we'll do is we'll repost all of Alan's older videos so that it can get more ad revenue, but we'll put our bank account in his account so that any ad revenue that Facebook sees and these videos are accumulating will just go to our bank account and not Alan's. Because remember, I had removed my bank account. My bank account was no longer valid. So I started having friends that had this access to this channel because I couldn't access it anymore. They blocked me out. So I started seeing people saying, hey, man, I seen all these old videos of yours popping up. They were posting like 5 videos of mine a day. These are videos I had already posted from 2019, 2020, 2021. They had went back and downloaded them, re-uploaded them, 5 or 6 a day, all my shorts and everything, and they were siphoning all of that ad revenue to their own accounts. Oh, but it gets worse. It gets worse, all right? So they took over my groups, my ad accounts, my Facebook page, my Instagram page, and like I said, I couldn't get control, all right? Guys, I was so angry for months. I was angry at myself because I let this happen. I was angry at Facebook because they weren't moving fast enough to resolve it. I was angry at the hackers because I was like, what kind of scum of the earth people would try to cheat people out of their hard-earned money? I was so angry for months. And so this went on and on and on and on. January, February, March, April, May, even into June. Okay, here we are, June 19th. I'm recording this video. Okay. I'm trying to think of what else that they may have done at this point. All kinds of other things that I just don't even need to get. But let me share with you some of the lessons I learned from this. All right, the enemy uses the lure of money to distract us. What did Jesus say? He said, the deceitfulness of riches can distract us. Guys, I get a lot of podcast invitations by the grace of God, a lot of them. And most of them, I typically just say, hey, I can't make it for a variety of reasons. All right, for a variety of reasons. But this one got my attention. Why? Because I could possibly be in front of 3.3 million people and they were paying me $3,000 for maybe an hour's worth of work. Guys, I confess to you right now that I was lured away because of money. Because quite frankly, yes, he has 3.3 million followers, but if he wouldn't have offered the $3,000, I still don't know if I would have said yes. I still don't know. But the fact that they put the money in there, it just lured me away and I got deceived. I confess that. I confess that to God. I confess that to you. Money, oftentimes, the enemy can use money sometimes to get us off course and to distract us and to deceive us from doing what God has called us to do. Because we think it's a blessing. We're thinking, oh, God must be blessing me with this. No, not every monetary thing is a blessing from God. Sometimes the enemy uses money to distract us from what God wants to do in our lives. All right. So that's the first thing, is that just because there's an opportunity maybe in your life or in my life to make more money doesn't mean it's always from God. You have to see for yourself whether that is or is not the case. Guys, the second lesson, oh my goodness, this is huge. The second lesson that I learned is that my faith and my focus was not on God, but it was on Facebook. I wasn't trusting God to get me my page back for the most part. My faith was in everything but God. I was calling my friends. I put out posts on Facebook. I know some of you all saw those. I was contacting old students that I taught at the high school that I used to teach at for 11 years that I knew worked at Facebook or Meta. And I was like, hey, can you get me inside to talk to somebody? Can you hook me up with this? I contacted friends who knew that other people got their pages hacked and they got them back. I was trying everything and I was consumed with this. I was so distracted. I was so bitter. I was so preoccupied. And my wife will tell you, when I get my grips on something, when I want to do something, it's lights out. Like there's no changing my mind. I'm locked in. And so my faith during these months that was happening, it was all over the place. All right. Okay, let me say it this way. We had a program that we were running for a three-day live challenge. It was called the Master Your Faith Challenge. And so we were wanting to get as many people as possible on this 3-day challenge that we were going to go live. All right. And so what's interesting is, in my mind, I was saying, I don't know if God is going to bless this 3-day challenge because we don't have access to advertise through Facebook. We can't use Facebook to leverage the power of advertising on Facebook to get people to enroll in this challenge. So therefore, God, it's probably not going to be what it could be. Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself. A minister, an ordained licensed minister, a seminary graduate, a Christian YouTuber, and my faith was weak. I was trusting in Facebook to get people to show up for my challenge, and I wasn't trusting in God. For God to bring the right people to the challenge, and ultimately the right people that we're going to enroll in our 90-day coaching program called Faith School. My faith wasn't, oh, God's going to work it out. My faith was, we got to get the Facebook page up. We got to get the Facebook page going so that way Facebook can help us. Guys, sometimes you're going through your challenges and your faith can be in everything and everyone else except God. And God will sometimes strip away the things that you and I put all of our faith in just to show you on the other side that it was always him, that he was always the one that had your back. He is always your source. He is always your provider. And that's exactly what God did. God got the right people, even though we couldn't really use Facebook and Instagram to promote our 3-day challenge and our live 90-day coaching program. God got the right people on this 3-day challenge, and he got the right people in our 90-day coaching program, and we did not have to use Facebook. We didn't have to use hardly any money advertising. God will sometimes strip away what you and I think we need in order to get by. He'll strip away some of the things that we are putting our faith in just to show us that he is our ultimate provider. Whew. Okay, that's the second lesson. All right. Okay, so let me see. What else can what some other lessons I can learn? Okay. A third lesson. Pay attention to red flags. This is true for anything in life. All right. Guys, when I look back now, I'm like, this was so obvious. We get so many emails all the time from people trying to do this and do that with us. And we know what to do. We know what to do. Our team is trained. Look at the email. And if the email does not come from an organization like bankofamerica.com or I don't know, what's another? I don't know, apple.com or whatever. I don't know. What would be another example? Google.com. All right. If you see somebody trying to get in touch with you and they have that email address, you can pretty much bank on the fact that it's coming from a legitimate person. But when it comes from a Gmail, like Alan Parr Ministries at gmail.com. Look, first of all, if you ever get an email from that email, that's not from us. Let's equip at Gmail. No. When you get an email from us, it's from at let'sequip.com or at apple.com or at google.com or at facebook.com. That should have been the first red flag. Was that when we checked the email, it was Lewis Howes podcast at gmail.com. Do you think if it was really Lewis Howes trying to get me to come to a podcast, he wouldn't have sent it from lewishowes.com? Yes. But you know what? Like many of us in relationships, in dating, in business deals, in all sorts of things, we are blinded by what we want. We're blinded by what we see. And we miss the red flags. We miss the red flags in relationship, people that we're dating, different things like that. I missed it. Here's the second red flag. Oh, this one should have got me. When I got on Zoom with these hackers, they didn't show their face. They did not have their camera on for obvious reasons, because if they had their cameras on, then I could record the screen and then they would be identifying themselves and I could possibly use facial recognition or send it to the government. I don't know, but they knew all of that and they didn't have their cameras on Zoom. Super big red flag. Didn't see it. Didn't see it. All right. So that's the third lesson. What does the book of James say? That we are led astray or enticed or dragged away by our own lusts. Because of our own lust, we are enticed and dragged away. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. I've got three more, I believe. The fourth one, I'm going to wrap this video up. The fourth one is faith. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep that. I'm going to make that number 6. The fourth one is be vigilant. All right. The Bible says, be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Guys, and all my YouTubers, all my influencers out there, be careful. Be vigilant. Be alert. Be of sober mind, because the enemy would love to distract you for months at a time, like he did with me, to where you can't even focus. I couldn't even focus on creating content. I was so angry. I was so consumed with getting this page back. It consumed everything, all of my time, all of my energy, all of my effort. Didn't even spend time with my kids a lot of time. My wife, I was angry, just angry. I'll get to that in a moment. But do whatever you have to do to protect yourself, because the enemy is after us. So things you can do: turn on 2-factor authentication for every important login that you have. I know it's a hassle, right? But it's worth it to make sure you are protected. Also, as I mentioned, don't open anything that appears to be business, doesn't come from business email. And then also, finally, you probably need to strengthen some of your passwords. I use a vault now called Keeper, and I have very strong passwords, and it logs me into everything. I don't even know what most of my passwords are anymore, because they got like 1 million symbols and stuff like that. I want to be protected and I want to be secure, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Number 5, forgiveness. Woo, man, God taught me a lot on forgiveness. Okay, so I told you during this time, I was angry. I was bitter. I was frustrated at myself. I was walking in a spirit of unforgiveness, preoccupied, you name it, irritable. That's how I was. No fun to be around. My team could tell my spirit was down. And I was angry for about 2.5, 3 months. And it was my wife who helped me truly let it go. She helped me let it go. Why? Not because these people deserved it, but for me. I had to stop walking in anger. And by the way, I hadn't gotten my page back whenever I decided to forgive. I said, you know what? I'm going to forgive these guys. Now, it doesn't mean that don't want my page back. It doesn't mean that I'm not hurt about it. It just means that when this situation comes up, I'm no longer bitter about it. And that's what, I I feel for some of you watching this video, because the way I felt for 3 months, listen, as I love you as your online pastor, one of your online pastors, if you will, some of you have been walking in that spirit of offense for years, where you're just angry, just frustrated, just bitter about something that happened, and it's hurting you. It's robbing you of peace and joy more than it is the people that hurt you. These people that scam me, they probably don't remember who I am. They've moved on to scamming 10, 15, 30, 50 other people since then. And here I am, angry and frustrated and bitter, and it's affecting my entire life. We need to be able to let things go and forgive. The last lesson that I'll share with you is a good one, and that's the lesson of faith. Well, the good news is that as of June 16th, I finally was able to regain full control of my Facebook page and my business manager. So I have control over my ad accounts. I have control over my page. Still working on getting some control on some other things. But the bottom line is I can log in now to Facebook and I have full control over everything now. And there was a point where I was tempted to give up. Guys, we have 114,000 followers on Facebook. You know, that took me 8-9 years to build that. People would told me, hey, just create a new page, which we did. We did, because we had to have something. And quite frankly, I didn't know if we were going to ever get this page back. But I still had faith the entire time. God is going to do this. God hadn't said no yet. God is going to give me the victory, right? That's why I have the shirt on today. Victorious, right? Victorious. God is going to do this. Maybe not in my timing and not in my way, but he's going to do this. And I trusted him and I had faith. And for some of you, people, okay, by the way, I looked at other people who had never gotten their pages back. I even listened to some people that said, you need to forget it. Just move on. You're not going to get that page back. I could have listened to them. Instead, I listened to what my spirit was telling me was that I think the Lord's going to do something special. And I was able to regain full control. Hopefully, I'll maintain full control and nothing else will happen. I think we're in the clear now. But the point is, some of us, you've given up on your dream because you've looked at other people and maybe they didn't get what you want. And you said, well, I can't, I'm not going to get it because I didn't see this person get it. Or people have told me that I should give up or this isn't going to happen for me. And you've given up instead of trusting God and having faith until God clearly says no in your life. That's a lesson of faith. All right. So I'm going to bring this video to a close, guys, but I wanted to share with you all, not just something about me, like, yeah, I got hacked, but it can happen to any of us. And so I want to encourage you to be careful out here. The enemy is crafty. Your whole world can get changed and flipped upside down just from a quick little, a click. I don't want you to be walking in fear in any way. Okay. I'm not going to be walking in fear, but just be careful because the enemy is out here, especially for all of my creators out here, all of my YouTube friends. Y'all know I love you, all of you. Even if I don't agree with some of you all theologically, I still know we're all fighting for the kingdom. We're all sharing the gospel. And I want you to be careful. That's why I'm recording this video. I don't want you to get caught up the same way that I did. So be careful. And I hope these lessons that I've shared in this video will help you in your Christian life as well. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging on to the end of this video. And I'll see you again. Bye for now.